Hi guys, this is Wenzes from Below the Radar Above the System, and now I want to talk to you about why INFJs invite criticism and how to change that pattern. If you're an INFJ, if you know INFJs in your surrounding, you'll know that this is a common pattern. It happens very often that when we're in a new situation, there are people around us who kind of like criticize us, who are being against us, who give us this impression of just our mere existence makes them uncomfortable and they need to lash out. This is happening throughout our lives. I think I've experienced it since I was small, since I was a little child till now. And by now I've learned what to do in order to avoid that. And one of the main ways to avoid that is to really speak out about what we want, who we are, what we stand for, and what is important to us. And the more we try to, conform towards others, the more we try to do the things that others want, the more and more people would get upset and criticize more. So the reason why this happens so often is because we have this kind of energy that has no boundaries. There's this huge void. We are so in our own world, and even when we are around people, our energy, there's no real something they can touch. People need boundaries. It's really important. I never believed that before, but if I don't know what you're about, or if I don't know what that INFJ is about, then I'm scared. People get scared and anxious because they're not like INFJs who can maybe understand where others are coming from. And very often we as INFJs understand others who are not INFJs even much better because they really say what they want. If they get upset, they show it somehow. This is not necessarily a strength. It has its strengths to pull back and not always say what you're about. But it is what happens. It is a common thing. So it's very hard to know what that INFJ is about. And I think this is the main reason why we invite criticism. And this is a natural tendency that happens within our social nature. I don't think it has anything to do with culture or anything like this. I think this is just a personality thing. And if you do certain things or just little tweaks here and there, you can really turn that around and have a great relationship. Because there are people who you meet and everybody likes them in the beginning. Everybody thinks they're fun, they're exciting, they're so nice, and then they turn out to be jerks. This happens. And so I have gotten used to the fact that there are people who sometimes won't understand me until I tell them who I am. And very often this is necessary because we're so unique. And I'm not saying we INFJs are so unique. I mean, every person is so specifically unique within everything that they are that the less you reveal of yourself, there's no way that other person can know who you are. And on the one hand, it makes other people nervous. It makes them nervous because they don't know what they're about. And they know when I don't know what's happening there, then I have to be extra careful. I have to try and see where those boundaries are. I need to know where I'm going to push that person. What is that person about? What's going to upset that person? Because if you don't know how that other person reacts, then, you're in danger somehow. At least a lot of people think like this, subconsciously at least. And the more you try to comply to what others want and to be less of a burden and show less boundaries, the more they will get upset, the more they will criticize and so on, because the more they'll get scared. Because every time they get scared and they put some kind of emotion out, every time they criticize you, every time they do something, they make themselves vulnerable. That's just what it is, because they show you there's some kind of reaction from my side. They may not think about it that way, but it definitely is that way. They see I'm getting upset. There's some kind of emotion that's going on in that person. And the other INFJ, and then the INFJ is just sitting there and being like, well, there's no reason to get upset. We can all be friends. I'm just saying the energy we put out. It's not like we sit there and say that. So that makes the other person even more upset. So, as I said, natural tendency does not mean that it has to be the be all and end all. I've turned so many people around and they've become my best friends after having situations like this. And all of it happened through me finally loving myself and accepting myself enough to show what I care about, what I don't care about, and what I like and what I don't like, who I'm about, what I think my strengths are, what my weaknesses are. I don't always make myself small. If there's some things I'm proud of, if there's some things I think I'm strong at, I'm also showing that, because also that is vulnerability. If you're always being the weaker one around the other person, why would that other person see you as a threat? No. But that is not, that's a TI observation we make, and so we think, okay, I'm not going to say anything because if I say something, that person will realize that I actually do have strengths. And that's actually what has to happen. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be somebody who doesn't annoy the other person at all. You have to actually show in what areas you will annoy, what you're very specifically strong minded about. And once you do that, people will stop with the criticism. That's why I talked about in the first video about using FE. When people know what you're about, the more and more they know what you're about, the less anxious they get and the less reason they have to criticize you. Of course there are people out there who always criticize, but as a general rule, you'll understand the more you say them, this is who I am, I don't like this, but I also need your help in that area. It's not just like a one-way street. It's more about showing who you are, being present, showing your energy. I mean, if you look at it, you see INFJs who are not present, and you see the way they talk. And then you see videos like this one where really make it a point to get emotions across, to get across about the essence of me. And these are all things that each of us has within us. If you look at one of my first videos, you'll see the shift. I'm still the same person. Everything happened, it's all the same, but now I get criticized much less. I get accepted better. And actually, I said that wrong. It's not that I don't get criticized. Since I have a new job for a couple of months, I've gotten into like a couple situations where everything was new and people did criticize me because there's something weird about me. I am people know, or people always tell me, you're different and so on. I get that. Like, I don't feel it, but I get it. I've lived enough, and if I look at the evidence, I know I'm different. So people react like this to things that are unknown. But I have made it a point, and it really works to really put a stop to it. I don't get upset over it anymore, because what I used to do is I get criticized, and then I'm like, why are you criticizing me? Can we all get along? I'm just trying to be a nice person. I want to help you and so on. Don't do that. Don't do that. Discipline is about doing what we want in the long run and making that, giving that a higher priority than what we have right now, or what we want right now. In the long run, we want to have a good relationship with that person. In the long run, we want to calm down and have a good social atmosphere around us. In order to get that, in the beginning, you have to show people who you are. Only then they will get a little bit more calm down. Don't always think about them in a way of, I have to comply. And once you do that, you realize how it all makes sense. Like, it really, really works. And it's a very, it's what the difficult part is about this is to not take it personal in the beginning. Like, to understand, okay, this is happening right now. I know they're being, they're criticizing me. I don't like the way this feels, but I'm willing to push back right now and make it uncomfortable for now. So in the long run, I feel good. Instead of going the easy route and directly, pushing, back and saying, okay, I'm not going to say anything. It's not solving problems, and just stretches the whole situation, and it doesn't lead to end results that we all like. So keep that in mind and apply it. When, next time you go into a new sports group, or next time you meet new coworkers, or next time you go somewhere, make it a point to be present, to show what you're about, be willing to challenge people's perception of what is okay and what is not okay. Just because you're different doesn't mean that you're not as much a part of society as they are. And that's why I always like those groups, the INFJ, it's like the idea pool from below the radar, above the system. And I have friends online who are INFJs, because it does feel good to see how other INFJs are behaving, and to kind of like see what similar things that we're experiencing within them, because only then we can really get an impression of how others perceive us, because we have no idea actually how they perceive us. And make it a point to understand I'm as valuable as everybody else. My opinion may be a minority, doesn't make it less valuable. Show who you are, and you'll see how people will less and less criticize you. If you lay everything open, there's nothing to criticize anymore. If you say, okay, this is who I am, and this is what I believe in, and I'm not gonna change for anybody, or I'm gonna change if I want to, so on, but I'm not gonna change it just because it's different than what you believe in, people will accept that. You'll be surprised how much people actually accept what you're putting out there. But you have to do it. Don't analyze everything, just do it. And be okay with people not liking you in the beginning or criticizing you in the beginning. Just stick it out. Stick it out, be disciplined for that moment, and make sure to tell them who you are. And then you can create a much more authentic and honest relationship that is stable. Okay, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and share if you like, and subscribe to the channel. Talk to you soon. Bye. Superficial things and money and so on, no matter how I act. Because actually, it just isn't that way. It's not how people perceive. The happier you're gonna be, the lighter your life will feel, the more alive